Bipartisan group of senators is in Ukraine today, meeting with President Zelensky and other officials to reaffirm the U.S. commitment to the embattled country as it stares down a potential Russian invasion after de-escalation talks really collapsed last week. Joining us now, New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez, chairing the Foreign Relations Committee, who's pushing for new sanctions on Russia if it does invade. Senator, thank you very much. Your legislation would sanction top Russian military and government officials and target the banking sector. Past sanctions have not worked, but we're told that the administration is planning much tougher sanctions. They haven't ruled out the SWIFT system, the banking and finance sanctions, the toughest of all. Mitt Romney said on Meet the Press yesterday that we should be sanctioning them now, not after they invade. What is your response to that?
Well, the effort here is to deter Russia from going in and invading Ukraine, or otherwise disrupting Ukraine, as we saw in recent cyber attacks and false flag operations. And so if you sanction them already, that doesn't mean that, it's one less reason for Putin to be, retrenching himself from invading. He'll say, well, we're sanctioned already, I might as well invade, and then leverage from there. So we believe that the sanctions that I consider the Defending Ukraine Sovereignty Act, which I wrote with others and has over 40 senators already sponsoring it. I call it the mother of all sanctions bill. It is far beyond the typical sanctions we leverage. Not only does it have direct sanctions against Putin and other high-ranking officials of the military in Russia, but it also sanctions its extraction economies, it sanctions its sovereign debt, it potentially unplugs it from the SWIFT, the International Financial Transaction System, which was the sanctions that I helped develop that ultimately brought Iran to the negotiating table originally. So, and much more. As well as authorizing $500 million more in military assistance to Ukraine. So I believe that knowing that the sword of Damocles is over your neck is what's going to potentially deter Putin to the extent that he has not already made a decision regardless of what we or anyone else does.
Are you coordinating with the White House and the State Department, the NSC on this?
I wrote my legislation independently of them, but I am glad to see that they have, in fact, endorsed the legislation. And this week, as we return to the Senate, I look forward to working with several of my Republican colleagues, Senator Portman, Senator Risch, Senator Rubio, Senator Corden, and others all have different ideas. And hopefully we can incorporate it in a way that creates a unified, powerful voice that not only is the administration made it clear to Putin that there will be incredibly severe consequences to the Russian economy and therefore to the Russian people beyond Putin, but that there is the support of the United States Congress behind it as well, and we are speaking with one voice.
We understand that the administration is considering a military aid to insurgents, to Ukrainian insurgents, as well as to the Ukrainian government, which has been ongoing, and it will increase. Where do you stand on that? Might that drag us into the conflict ourselves?
Well, Andrea, a lot of the military equipment we have already sent into Ukraine and may continue to send is the type of equipment that an insurgency would use. Small arms and other related elements. I think Putin has to, as part of his calculation, as I said in a hearing on Russia that we held about a month ago, that he has to think about how many body bags is he willing to accept as part of his effort to invade Ukraine. And an insurgency, I know the Ukrainian people, we have a large diaspora here in New Jersey. They are strong, they are committed, they are fervent in their belief in their native country, and they will do what is necessary to defend it. And you will see all types, if Putin makes this mistake, you will see all types of Ukrainian society coming out in an insurgency that will send a lot of Russia's sons back to Russia in a body bag.
Let me switch gears and ask you about yet another missile test today, overnight, from North Korea. This is the fourth since the beginning of the year. And it seems as though they are undeterred. They are making enormous progress, according to all the experts, with hypersonic tests last week, which can evade our own missile defenses and our allies. So what are we going to do? We don't seem to be able to engage them in diplomacy. The Biden administration has been asking and asking, making overtures fruitlessly, and no response.
Well, the Biden administration ultimately ended up in a far worse position after President Trump played with Kim Jong-un and ultimately gave him international acceptance. And all Kim Jong-un did is dramatically advance their weapon system. That's why I'm glad to see that Linda Thomas Greenfield, the United States ambassador at the UN, has submitted to the UN Sanctions Committee a series of names and entities to get the UN involved. These are violation of UN Security Council resolutions. And Russia and China have to see North Korea's actions not only as a threat to the West, but as a threat to their own security. And so it is my hope that we can press at the UN for a coordinated effort that sends a real message to Kim Jong-un that these provocations are not the way to get what he may ultimately want.
Not a great time on the foreign policy front. Thank you very much. A lot of work for you and the committee, Senator Menendez. And joining us